Hey guys, today we'll be talking about a tank which is also called as that other bloody panther that nobody ever knows, or the American panther, or that panther which has a crisis of conscience. It doesn't know what exactly it wants to be. So this is the Panther M10, which is basically the hull of a panther, combined with the turret of an M10 Wolverine tank destroyer. This is actually a tank that actually existed. It was mainly used on the Battle of the Bulge by the Germans, which tried to disguise their Panthers when they tried to attack and also attack the Americans and trying to split their lines. Unfortunately for the Germans, they actually got defeated, or their armies got out of steam. The Allied aviation, basically after a few days in which there was pitch black and the conditions were pretty bad for the airplanes, got up to started to fly again, and basically they lost most of their tanks, and basically this is how the German M10 Panther was born, and it existed. Now in game, the German Panther, or the American Panther over here, it's a tank that can only see premium matchmaking. It's a tank which was introduced a few years ago, and it only has 135 average damage per shot. Then it has around 150 penetration, which is pretty ludicrously bad at this day and age. And also it has 194 if you're firing any premium ammo. But you'll see me firing exclusively standard ammo in this game. So yeah, this is how you can play the Panther with all those bad stats over here at tier 7 when it's top tier, admittedly, and actually do a bit of damage, because this tank has everything that the Panther has, which means ludicrously high rate of fire, and yeah, this allows the tank to actually work pretty nicely and do quite a bit of damage if you are able to use that good DPM and not get shot at this huge profile over here that doesn't have any kind of armor. So the Panther M10, it's a tank which can spot for itself if you're using some coated optics, and I would strongly advise you to use coated optics, especially at lower tires, because some people still don't really use binos or coated optics, and don't have good crews at lower tires because most of the other people are playing tire 8. And now you're gonna see the armor in action, so the lack of it, and you're gonna get almost killed in 3 or 4 shots that are shot towards you. So this tank can't take a joke, it can't really take a hit. However, as you saw, if you're using your good rate of fire and you play the tank reasonably, you can get some really nice results with it. And yeah, the other main issue with this tank is the fact that it doesn't have any kind of camo. With my camoed crew on this tank and a good crew, it only reaches around 20% camo, which is pretty bad for any kind of medium tank. And I'm also using chocolate, so this also improves the camo, so yeah, the camo situation is going to be pretty bad. However, this tank is all about the gun. If you're able to use the gun in a prolonged engagement, the tank can still work in 2024. And apart from that, I think it looks pretty good. So on the stylish department, this M10 isn't the turret isn't the best, the worst thing that could happen to this tank. And in this situation, we're kind of losing the game. So now I need to take a decision. Should I go back and try and save or try and snipe from a distance, or should I come forward? So I decided to just go behind the bush, try and get this Yak Panther, who might be able to kill me in 2 shots. And now I take 1 shot, and then the Scorpion will basically kill him pretty easily. Sorry for the spoiler, but yeah, this is what was about to happen over here. So as you saw, the Panther isn't necessarily the best tank. Now I'm a bit concerned in this situation because we're still losing, and I'm not sure if I should push or not, because the enemy still has quite a number of tanks. And the enemies on the other side, though, we do have a few tanks which are doing a pretty decent job at fighting against some enemy tanks, and this is a mistake that a lot um, of people do, basically by splitting up their forces. In my experience, when you're playing in a lemming train, it usually works better than not. So yeah, you should just use a lemming train because it's a lot more effective than you would give it credit for. Now, the only tank which is left over here, by the way, we just reversed the situation, not necessarily due to my input, although I did spot the T-28 for the Scorp, but due to the fact that our guys in the forest were pretty good. Now I managed to also spot the Skoda T-25, which was trying to fire on the enemies, and now he withdraws, and I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe the Tiger hasn't moved yet, but I do have the Scorp backing me up, so I just decided to take a conservative approach and keep on spotting for a second or two, because the enemies do have the Tiger, and until I know where the Tiger is, I'm not gonna do too much. Now I do see the Tiger, and now yeah, there's just the issue of getting the Tiger. Now as you see over here, the tank does have the capability of actually aiming for weak spots. Is pretty accurate, although you'll get some occasional misses. But the good rate of fire means that you can fire, and you don't really care that much about those things. So yeah, I'd say that was a pretty good game in the Panther M10, which yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna say anything about it. And yeah, I think it's a tank that you can surprise your enemies with the good rate of fire that it has. Don't ever stay in trade with an enemy tank. Try and flank them, try and get them from behind. Don't ever play fair in this tank because you don't have the armor, you don't have the camo, you don't have the alpha, you don't even have the pants. So if you want to play this tank, you need to accept the fact that this tank has DPM. It has a punchy gun which can fire quite aggressively. You can ram people, so you're basically a Panther, but that's about it. And the fact that you only see tier 8s at max and your premium tanks means that you can do quite a bit of profit in this tank, provided you're prepared to use more of the standard ammo than the premium one. This will also mean that you can get some really decent results with it. Now let's see the final stats and then go from there. Okay, so as you just saw, this game was good enough for Tier or Mastery Badge Class 1 with a Confederate Medal with 2.3k damage done and also 2k damage spotting. This was good enough to finish first on experience and yeah, second on damage. So yeah, I helped a little bit the Scorpion. I fired 31 shots. I penned 23, or sorry, I hit 23 and I penned 18. This also allowed me with the spotting to get quite a nice profit. If you subtract the battle payments and the events, you're gonna get around 100k profit in total, which is, I'd say, pretty good for a tier 7 tank, right? So it's not bad. And that's by using some only the clan reserves, not any kind of extra reserves. Maybe I should have used those as well. So yeah, I'd say that was a pretty decent result in the Panther. Now I want to talk a little bit about the stats of the tank, but first I'm gonna just I think I'm gonna apply some field modes because I haven't really played this tank that much, and yeah, I think I'm gonna just take for the halt traverse speed, and yeah. Now Now let's talk a little bit about the stats of this tank. As you see, I have a 59% win rate in the tank, and I'm using just the vent, the rammer, and the coated optics. The tank does have only 135 HP per shot, but you do reload in around 3 seconds. The pen is pretty bad. It's 150, which isn't great at tier 6, and this is at tier 7, so yeah, there's nothing at what you can do over here. But the tank does have some nice amount of HP. You do have one of the cheaper rounds that you're ever gonna find, around 100 credits per shot, which is ludicrously cheap, so you can take advantage of those. But the premium ammo costs around 280 per shot, and that stacks up really fast whenever you're firing at tier 8s, and you're going to be firing at some tier 8s in the game. Now the other stats of the tank, you do have good reverse speed, you do have some great aim time, some excellent dispersion, and some really good DPM. Also the gun depression is pretty good. 8 degrees is nothing to scoff at. So yeah, I think that's pretty good, but always take into account the fact that you only have 135 per shot. You do have 1300 hit points, which is pretty good because you don't have any kind of armor, so you're gonna need your HP. You also have 46 weight limit, and you can ram pretty nicely. The specific power to weight ratio is decent, 15, and you also have a top speed of 55, so it's basically a standard tank, standard Panther. The camo is bad, yeah, even with a fully camoed crew, the camo is really bad, so it's only 21, but there's nothing what you can do. And with the coated optics, my crew and the chocolate, I can spot until the edge of the map, 466 range in total. As you can see, the standard Panther basically has the same kind of camo, 20, which is not great, and the spotting rate of 466 is improved with every kind of perk that I used over there, but still not great. So you'll be able to outspot some tier 6s and tier 5s, and also some tier 7s to be fair, but at tier 8 you're gonna struggle. Yeah, what else can I talk about on this tank? The gun is the standard one, and it's basically a Panther, so I'm not gonna say too much, although I do like the way the tank looks. I think it's one of the more unique tanks, and the fact that it actually existed in reality, it's a nice touch. So yeah, I think that about covers the Panther M10. I think it's a tank that has a nice profile, although it's a boxy tank, and if you don't love boxy tanks, then you might not love this tank. However, I do like boxy tanks, so in my view, it's a tank that I can have fun, although I know that it's not the most competitive, it's not broken, it's not overpowered. This tank is just a Panther, and yeah, you can live with it and just have fun with it. So that being said, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.